Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and a fantastic weekend it was in and around the city of Pittsburgh. Lots to talk about here on a Monday evening stream, a busy weekend. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they continued training camp, 2 more practices over the weekend that we get to recap and talk about. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they were in action. They completed a series win, taking 2 out of 3 from the Arizona Diamondbacks, and legends were recognized and honored all around. That and so much more we are going to talk about here tonight. First thing is first, 5 of you in here right now, welcome to the stream. If you're new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, feel free to like and share this live stream, as well as comment in the comment section any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have. We can interact that way, and I appreciate it when you do so. We are going to jump right into the news today, ladies and gentlemen. Lots and lots to talk about. We are going to start out a little bit outside the city of Pittsburgh in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. Steelers training camp 2025 rolls on. And I guess you would technically call it the first week. I mean, they started practicing on Thursday, but, 4 straight days of practicing. I'm going to count it as, a full, week of work. And the Steelers, they did lots over the weekend. First off, lots of alumni represented. We've seen a handful of Steelers greats in Latrobe throughout the past couple of days. Brett Kiesel, Jeff Hardings on Saturday, Ike Taylor, Troy Polamalu, and Joey Porter all in Latrobe to, keep an eye on the, field and how the team is doing, but also interact with fans, I'm sure. Speaking of Joey Porter Jr., Joey Porter Sr., not Joey Porter Jr., more on Peasy later on in the program. First up on Saturday, Steelers, they were doing 7 shots pretty early in practice. Defense ended up taking a 4-3 win on Saturday. Again, Zach Frazier really having issues with low snaps in the early portions of training camp, which, hey, if you're going to do them in training camp. Get every, single flaw in your game out of your system early on. But, I mean, Zach, it's 2 or 3 days in a row now he's had snap issues. Let's get that under control. Frazier, he was pulled after the first rep in 7 shots on Saturday for Ryan McCullum, the backup center. After that, Aaron Rodgers, a touchdown slant to DK Metcalf against Joey Porter Jr. Frazier then re-entered. Darnell Washington, Rodgers, he's had high praise for Washington, calls him a Mercedes Lewis type of tight end, Lewis being one of the all-time greats for tight ends. Rodgers finding Washington in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. Mason Rudolph came in, a coverage sack by Patrick Queen on him, and then looking for Connor Hayward in the corner. That was incomplete with good coverage by undrafted free agent rookie out of Iowa, Sebastian Castro. Will Howard came in for 1 play, hit a touchdown slant to a surprise of training camp thus far, J.J. Galbraith, undrafted free agent signee out of, I believe, Minnesota. He has been impressed, and he has been a target of Howard's throughout the first week of training camp. That was tied up 3-3, 7 shots. Starters came back in. Derek Harmon got the pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and Nick Herbig got the SWAT. Defense wins that one 4-3. Then they got into some 11-on-11. Rodgers starting it off. Herbig got a sack against Fa'utanu. Herbig and Highsmith, they did some flipping, so it's not just, TJ Watt moving around. Again, looks like we are going to see a bunch of movement from a bunch of different guys, really make some unpredictability for this defense. So Herbig gets the sack on Fa'utanu. There was a pass breakup in there by Deshaun Elliott against Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith back in action, seemingly a full participant this weekend. He was dealing with an undisclosed injury for the first 2 practices of camp, joined back in with the team, took part in 11 on 11. Rodgers kind of struggled on Saturday, looked Metcalf twice for incompletions to begin 11 on 11. And then he looked for Jonnu Smith twice as well. Both of those were broken up. After that, Mason Rudolph came in. Kenneth Gainwell showing some good yards after the catch capabilities. You love seeing that from him. He did that a bunch against the Steelers last year when the black and gold faced off with the Philadelphia Eagles. A double team, James Pierre and new safety, Chuck Clark. They created a pass breakup against Roman Wilson deep downfield, a little bit of an underthrow by Mason Rudolph. He then hit Brandon Johnston for a 15-yard out. Rodgers back in. Good coverage again. Deshaun Elliott forcing a throwaway on Rodgers. DK Metcalf then had a pop pass for a touchdown. Great to see that. Rodgers continuing here, just reading over what all went on after the 11 on 11 wrapped up. They then went to 7 on 7. Rodgers hitting Kenneth Gainwell on a hitch. Deshaun Elliott, I know they're not in pads. He could have laid the boom on Gainwell from what I'm reading here. Jonnu Smith on the hitch again for the first down. Scotty Miller with a post for 15 yards. Mason Rudolph back in. Did all right. I believe he had 4 completions here. Shallow cross to Hayward, hit Darnell Washington. Then Robert Woods and Lance McCutcheon. Great stuff there from Mason Rudolph. And then to wrap up the 7 on 7 period, Rodgers finally finds Metcalf on a hook for a first down. Trey Sermon gets a pass out in the flat for a first down. And then Joey Porter Jr. locking up Roman Wilson. So a bit of a scattered day for Aaron Rodgers. But, hit and miss on some things. Then finally he made a big mistake. Not really a mistake, honestly. It's just good on good. Jalen Ramsey, if you've seen the videos out there, making a heck of a play, intercepting the ball, jumping in front of Jonnu Smith. Some people even describing it as probably the most athletic play that you have seen from a defensive back in quite some time, really, since I think Minkah Fitzpatrick was, back in his prime 2-3 years ago. So good stuff there from Jalen Ramsey. He's had a hot start to camp. Derek Harmon, speaking of hot starts, he is off on one as well. Tackle for loss on Jalen Warren to wrap up 11 on 11. And that pretty much did it. So defense dominating on Saturday. A couple other notes from Saturday's practice. Jalen Ramsey, throughout the practice, did most of his work at outside corner opposite Joey Porter Jr., Darius Slay, I believe TJ Watt, Cam Hayward. They had veteran off days. So Ramsey, finally, they had him on the outside for a practice. I like that they're moving him around. It's just I don't want to move him to one position or damn near full time. Let's keep him a little bit comfortable outside, best on best, lined up with Metcalf for a good bit of 11 on 11 and 7 on 7. So I like that he was out there. Chuck Clark as well. We talked about him signing with the Steelers last Friday from the Baltimore Ravens, or former Baltimore Raven, signing from the New York Jets. He was second team free safety. I believe the second team free safety was being split between Juan Thornhill, who was doing double duty, and Sebastian Castro, who really is more of a strong safety than he is a free safety. So Chuck Clark, kind of still like Sebastian Castro, playing out of position. I think he's more of the strong safety type, but he's played, a bunch of spots at safety. If he can be a free safety in a pinch, I'll be okay with it. Couple other notes from Saturday's practice. Jonnu Smith, once again, talked about him being healthy. He was doing a bunch of individual agility drills and working on his footwork. He looks healthy. I wonder what his undisclosed injury was. We may never know. Speaking of looking healthy, Cameron Johnston, he and Cortland Sweetman were out bombing balls on Saturday. Johnston looks completely healthy after that very, very scary and concerning injury in week 1 last year. We'll see how that punter camp battle works out, but Johnston looks to be back to his former form. And last bit of news from Saturday's practice, about an hour and a half, about half an hour after practice ended, Roman Wilson still down there on the field, found an equipment manager and was catching balls off the jugs machine. So looking like he has got all the work ethic that you want to see out of a guy who missed pretty much all of last year, couldn't get on the moving train, as Mike Tomlin likes to say. Moving from Saturday's practice onto Sunday's practice, 7 shots again on day 4. And again, the defense winning 4-3. Rodgers to begin 7 shots. Trips right formation, hit Jonnu Smith in the flat for a touchdown. Juan Thornhill then had a pass breakup to DK Metcalf in the corner of the end zone. And then Pat Freiermuth also had a touchdown. So 2 for 3 went Aaron Rodgers. Mason Rudolph comes in. A drop by one of the, running backs, Nathan Hurlman. And then Brandon Eccles. Good start to him in training camp. Really has picked it up in recent days. He gets an interception off a bad throw by Mason Rudolph. Will Howard comes in, 1 and done, hits a tight end, or hits for a touchdown, this time to running back Evan Hall, and then tied up 3 apiece again. Aaron Rodgers and the first team offense coming back in against the first team defense was looking for Roman Wilson, but he was blanketed by Deshaun Elliott. Looking here back into some 11-on-11 work here. Once again, Brandon Eccles picking off Mason Rudolph on a lob to Darnell Washington. Good play by him. Moving into 11-on-11, no Broderick Jones for most of practice yesterday, at least for the 11-on-11 portions. Broderick Jones was off to the side, and Dylan Cook, the backup tackle, one of the backup tackles, he went in with the starters for 11-on-11. We then came to find out Jones dealing with a seemingly groin injury. The medical staff was wrapping his groin area after individual drills wrapped up. And he took 1 or 2 snaps during 7 shots, and that was it. He then took his jersey off and watched the rest of practice. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Broderick Jones dealing with some injury issues right now. 11-on-11 then. Aaron Rodgers in there for 6 straight plays. Little dink and dunk plays. Hit Pat Freiermuth a couple of times. Hit Calvin Austin in the flat for a first down. Had a shovel pass to Kenneth Gainwell. That went nowhere. And, Caleb Johnson on the 6th play of Rodgers' first reps really dropped the ball. And you hate seeing that. I think a lot of people, they are expecting big things from Caleb Johnson. 2 things that he needs to work on, his receiving and his pass protection. Coach Tomlin not going to like that he dropped that pass. Mason Rudolph and then Will Howard came in for 2 plays apiece. Y.A. Black, who's just a mountain of a human being, 6'6". He had a big swat. Then Rudolph had a 15-yard completion. Will Howard comes in at a screen pass to Scotty Miller and then a throwaway. Defense dominating. Aaron Rodgers back in. TJ Watt gets a sack off of Troy Fautanu. A throwaway for Rodgers. Another sack for Alex Highsmith. And then a delayed release by Jalen Warren gets a first down. Rudolph back in. A 5-yard run for Caleb Johnson. And then, good news, we got our first little scuffle of training camp. Love to see the boys fighting. Clearly, you want nothing bad of these things. I'm going to pop up the picture right here. Shout out to Allen Saunders for posting this. Our first little dust up here. Cole Holcomb Ryan McCullum at the bottom of the pile here. I also think that Nick Herbig was involved in this, but people maybe who are not so, invested in football, they are just, this will be sounding like a negative term, but it's not, fly-by casual fans. They'll see fights in training camp and they'll be like, oh no, this team, bad blood brewing. No, this is stuff that you like to see. You want to see chippiness. Mike Tomlin, one of his great sayings that I love reciting, you'd rather tell a dog whoa than sick 'em. Letting the boys, get out a little bit of frustration. It was also hot as hell this weekend. Tensions boil over, partly because of the heat, partly because, we're, 4 days into training camp, and today, Monday, is finally their off day. So a build up to this. You love seeing it, though. Nothing malicious. It was quickly broken up, but I am going to be one of those guys. I love seeing the theatrics of training camp. Love seeing the, little dust ups here and there. After that, Law and Order took place. Y.A. Black, Mason Rudolph still in there. Y.A. Black, again, getting another tipped pass. He has been, I think, one of pretty much the entire draft class, from what I've read and heard, has been outstanding to begin training camp. Derek Harmon looking every bit like he should be with the first team and is going to be a starter to begin the year. Minus a drop yesterday, Caleb Johnson really looks outstanding, like he is going to be a starter in this offense long term, presuming that he stays healthy. Jack Sawyer, he's been good, has had little flashes here and there. Same thing with Y.A. Black. Will Howard, fan favorite, he's been looking good. Really the only drafted rookie that I haven't heard from at all in this training camp, Carson Bruner, Mark Bruner's son, former Pittsburgh Steeler. So he's really the only one that I haven't heard any massive success about. I mean, hell, even Dante Kent, who I think is just going to be a core special teamer, he's been doing some punt return work, and I think he even got an interception at some point this weekend. After that, simple run by Trey Sermon. Will Howard came in, hit J.J. Galbraith again, and you hate seeing this final play of 11 on 11 for yesterday's practice. Tight end / fullback DJ Thomas Jones, he got injured, left ankle injury for him. He exited on a cart. You were hoping that was just going to be a precaution. I think tons of players get taken away from practice on stretcher, or not stretcher, on cart, because, you don't want them walking a good distance. However, Mike Tomlin, after practice, said that, DJ Thomas Jones, his injury is more significant and that it's still being evaluated. Hate seeing that. He also did confirm Broderick Jones and wide receiver, one of the best names ever, Montana, Lamonius Craig. They have lower body soft tissues injuries, and they will be day-to-day. So that's wrapping up everything that went on the Steelers practices over the weekend. A couple other tidbits here from Mike Tomlin's Sunday press conference. Said that he has been impressed by Chuck Clark over his first few practices. Really had high recommendations from, I believe, players coming since he signed, and he's been impressed with him so far. Also gave a good bit of praise to Brandon Eccles as well, who had an INT yesterday. Also, Tomlin wasn't done with media duties. He and Aaron Rodgers went up and they did interviews with Kyle Brandt of Good Morning Football. Tomlin said, whether you believe him or not, doesn't really care about, never having a losing season. Really wants to focus on doing right by the guys on the team and having more success in playoffs. But Rodgers, he was the headline ticket here. Rodgers with Kyle Brandt, I think they're, good relations. Rodgers, he has his favorites in the media, has some not so favorites in the media. Talked about a bunch of stuff, how camp has been going so far. why he came back, his love life with his mystery wife or whatever. But big quote from Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to sort of, just do my best here. I don't have the exact quote, so I'm going to tell you what he said verbatim. Rodgers, talking about another Steelers quarterback, former all-time great, Terry Bradshaw, if you remember, a couple weeks ago, really a couple months ago now, said that it was ridiculous that the Steelers were waiting for Aaron Rodgers or even thinking of signing Aaron Rodgers. And Bradshaw told Rodgers, go stay in California, chew bark, speak to the gods, all that. I'm impressed with Rodgers and how he handled this. Really a grade A response, PR 101 for Aaron Rodgers. I guess you can say that, he approached this and answered this the way he did because he doesn't want to make any waves with still a team that he's new on. But impressed that Rodgers, who can bare his teeth and take shots the other way at people, said, hey, Terry doesn't know me. If he wants to, get together and actually meet me one day, I think we can get along. So I'm proud with Rodgers, really took a high road. Said, Terry doesn't know me. He's taking the stance of what he's heard about me from other people in the past. Come on, Terry, come meet me, come to your own conclusions, and we can move forward and possibly be friends from there. So I'm impressed with Aaron Rodgers and glad that he handled it that way. What say you? Let me know in the comment section below. 12 of you in here right now. Would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Wrapping up what all went down this weekend at Steelers training camp. Going to go to the comment section right now, seeing a couple familiar faces in there. THP and Flacco. Let's start with THP, Aaron Rodgers, or Justin Fields, or Terry Bradshaw. All time, Terry Bradshaw. Or no, all time. I'm actually going to go Rodgers over Bradshaw all time. I get it. Oh, that's tough. Do you go with the 4-time Super Bowl champ or the 4-time MVP? Terry Bradshaw all time, slightly over Aaron Rodgers, but currently Bradshaw, he's not as good as he once was. Not quoting, a Toby Keith song here. However, Rodgers, I think if you want a professional quarterback and a dude who has had a ton of experience, you go with Rodgers. If you want flash and potential, you go Justin Fields. Terry Bradshaw is awesome, but he's been done for 45 years now? Yeah. THP, he has not been shy to let his feelings fly, let his words fly. Flacco, welcome back. THP, you're going after Terry. Terry, a bum now. Nobody cares what Bradshaw has to say. Yeah, I do think Bradshaw sometimes does say a bunch more than he should be, especially in this case. Waiting for Aaron Rodgers, just like the rest of us before he signed, we're critical of how Rodgers is going to be here, but we got to remember to come to our own conclusions. I always kept an open mind, I think, pretty well with Aaron Rodgers before and after he signed. And I got to say, I'm a pretty decent Rodgers defender. Now, that stance subject to change once he, starts facing live bullets here when the regular season starts. But, I implore Terry Bradshaw, hey, I get it. Also, kind of, been a hard ass on the Steelers for years now, and even more so because he, for some reason, is a massive Kenny Pickett defender. I think that's just Terry being a hard ass on the Steelers and took an unnecessary shot at Rodgers. Maybe get to meet the guy, and then we can come, then maybe you can speak on that further. Sticking with the comments here, Steeler Mike. Welcome, Steeler Mike. Aaron Rodgers is like Big Ben in practice and camp. He tries different throws to see what his receivers can do. So, yeah, I pay no attention to a training camp QB stats. That's just dumb. I agree. I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm just saying, he's had good days and bad days in camp so far. I'm not taking any stock in them whatsoever. This is, the first 4 practices. It's been training camp football in shorts and a t-shirt. I'm not taking anything to it. Would I like to see Rodgers, look a tiny bit better for, being who he is, football in shorts? I think any veteran quarterback should be able to dice up defenses. I would like to see a little bit more success from him, but hey, I'm an open mind here to him. I'm not going to take any sort of stock in what he does and doesn't do, probably until week 1 there in JetLife Stadium. So thank you for the comment there, Steelers Mike. All time, I'd go Bradshaw. Yes, Rodgers was accurate. Yeah, and that's what lots of people have said. Going back to Steeler Mike, this is the time where you experiment new things. Really, not just as a quarterback, but for every single player. Experiment, how you throw. Experiment with how reliable your receivers are. What their catch radius is. All that. So. Not going to go in too harsh on Rodgers. I'm not mad at Bradshaw. Rodgers is pretentious, but he is what he is. Yeah, I mean, I think it's both guys here having a misunderstanding about each other. I'm sure Rodgers had bottled up some feelings about Bradshaw there. Bradshaw said what he said. Let them get together. I'm sure they could, find more commonalities than differences between themselves. Grumpy old man thinking he never talks good about the Steelers. Yeah, that's been a while. And that goes back to another question, when is Terry Bradshaw officially going to get his number 12 retired? I think part of what he's saying about the Steelers, the stances he's having with the organization, probably won't see Bradshaw's number retired for a little while because of that. So, Yeah, good weekend there for Steelers. Training camp week 1 in the books. And I believe it's tomorrow. We then can put at least a tiny bit more stock in what goes down. Pads, I think starting tomorrow on Tuesday, will be on. I am going to be much more happy to talk about Steelers training camp then. Lots of good stuff. One-on-ones, tight ends, linebackers, wide receivers, corners, also backs on backers, probably the most highly anticipated drill of training camp. All of that coming up this week. I'm so looking forward to see Caleb run. Yeah, I agree. I want to see him in backs on backers. Pass protection for Caleb Johnson has been one of his not so strong points, or at least that has been said. I want to see him go up against Peyton Wilson or Cole Holcomb, go up against those guys. He's got the frame and the stature to be a very good pass protector. Let's see if he can do it. Steelers need to run the ball, and Rodgers can help them win. I'm a Cowboys fan, but we're almost the same type of team. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, I could see that. Run the ball, and Rodgers can help them win. I think you're going to see this team run a bunch early in the season to protect Rodgers and also to get this offensive line gelled up with each other a little bit more, because both, I think the offensive line especially, it has been sketchy as hell to begin training camp there, PHP. 11 of you in here right now. Once again, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Like and share this video as well. Get your thoughts, questions, and opinions in the comment section. We are going to stick with the Steelers for a couple minutes here, ladies and gentlemen, because training camp wasn't the only big thing going on at St. Vincent College. The 2025 Hall of Honor class for the Pittsburgh Steelers was announced, and when we heard that they were going to announce it on Saturday, Art Rooney II, Steelers owner, said that it was a pretty easy class for them to select this year. Just 3 players, but having just these 3 stand alone as a class of their own, it is pretty perfect. Long-time franchise center, one of many all-time great centers, Marquise Pouncey, one of the baddest, meanest Steelers players on defense in history, Joey Porter Jr., and We just talked about Terry Bradshaw, 4 rings, pretty outstanding achievements, but I gotta still go with this guy, the all-time great quarterback in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger. Pouncey, Porter, Roethlisberger, your 2025 Steelers Hall of Honor class. Like I just said, only 3. I think the Hall of Honor classes, their sizes have fluctuated throughout the years. Some years it would be, 4 or 5. Others it would be, 6, 7. I think even 8 at one point. I might be confusing that with the Pirates here in their Hall of Honor. But just having these 3 as a class of their own, pretty perfect. These guys winning a Super Bowl together in various, ways. Really, these guys were my childhood. That's also why I love this class. Pouncey, like we said, all-time great center, 9-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro, all 2010s teams, and I think, one of the all-time great centers, and not just all-time great center among the NFL, but he continued a long lineage of Steelers centers throughout history. Mike Webster, Dermontti Dawson, he's just an outstanding center. He was always steady Eddie. Glad to see that he is getting this recognition. It's also, going to be pretty funny when he does make it, or whenever the Steelers have their Hall of Honor dinner and enshrinement, to see just how much Pouncey has slimmed down. It's always interesting to see that. Porter, again, one of the baddest dudes ever, to suit up for the Steelers on defense. Hard-nosed, rugged football defense that'll chew you up and spit you out. Porter embraced that, and he is going to be mentioned just like how Pouncey is with the all-time great centers. Porter is going to be mentioned years from now still as as one of the all-time great linebackers, and a long list of them to come through the Steelers organization. Lambert, Ham, Porter, Harrison, TJ Watt today. Lots of great linebackers throughout the years. Green and lots of good stuff. Greg Lloyd, yes, he's up there as well. And then, you get the 7. I mean, what can't be said about 7? My childhood, like I said, I cannot say any nicer things about Roethlisberger. I can read you his resume: 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champ. Just speechless about him. Not enough good things can be said about him. I could stay on here for an hour and talk about Ben Roethlisberger. All the great showings that he had, just some of the all-time great moments that he was at the center of in this franchise history. I can't name them all, but just some that come to mind. The tackle against the Colts in the AFC Championship game, that pass, I'm still calling it to this day the greatest pass and catch in Super Bowl history, hitting Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone. The fake spike hitting Antonio Brown, his various 5 and 6 touchdown games, breaking his nose against the Ravens and going in there and finishing out the game, all the pump fakes, all the incredible escapes from the pockets, the impromptu scrambles, just legendary stuff from all 3 of these men, and glad to see them get into the Hall of Honor. Really quite the easy class for them to pick, indeed. Back to the comments section real quick. THP Pickens got hurt. Yes, George Pickens is currently dealing with a hamstring injury. Is that new? Is that breaking? Hang on here. I'm going to take a look here. Is that new? Breaking news here. Seeing more pictures from Steelers training camp here. Jalen Ramsey, aura, I got to tell you. Not seeing. Where are you guys seeing that Pickens has a hamstring injury? I'll have to keep an eye out on that. Update here. We just talked about the Steelers and their injury situation at training camp right now. Mike DeFabo covers the Steelers for The Athletic. Per source, further testing revealed DJ Thomas Jones does not have a torn Achilles, as some have speculated. Well, Mike Tomlin said yesterday that the injury is significant. It is not believed to be season-ending for the versatile, undrafted free agent. So, okay, good stuff there. Good news that DJ Thomas Jones is doing good. We gotta keep an eye on this. As a matter of fact, I am going to bookmark this. We could have something going on in the Pirates world here. Lots of news around the Pirates going on. Stuff about Key Brian Hayes and David Bednar, that is going to be coming up here soon. In the meantime, let's keep going. Let's go back to the comments here. 3 All-Stars, Flacco, yes. 3 all-time greats in the franchise's history. All-time great center in Pouncey. One of the greatest Steelers linebackers in Joey Porter, and the best quarterback in franchise history, and a top 10 quarterback all-time in Big Ben. Greg Lloyd was way better. Yeah, Porter. I mean, you can really go through, I think generation by generation and really pick out 2 or at least 1 or 2 linebackers. Started with Lambert and Ham, then it went to Lloyd and Green, Porter and Harrison, even though they didn't play together. They did play together, but not for, long. And then right now, this generation, TJ Watt. So yeah, I'm still putting him, among the great Steeler linebackers. I'm not putting a capped number on how many I have to list here. I even liked Larry Foote. Yeah, Foote is up there. Lawrence Timmons as well. James Ferrier. Those guys as well. I will give them credit. They're up there as well. Barry Foster went to my high school in Dallas, Duncanville. Cool. That is cool as hell. 5 days ago for Pickens. I did not see this. Breaking: Cowboys George Pickens hurt in practice, near scare. All right, I missed that one. Maybe once I'll post the video, you can take it back right after. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I didn't see that. I keep seeing, them trying to hype him up. Saw the one handed catch he made a couple of days ago, and people are like, oh, bet the Steelers, they are upset that they got rid of George Pickens. No. He can make all the flashes he wants. I don't give a crap. He could make 100 one-handed catches. He could catch a pass with his feet, do a handstand, catch a pass with his feet, and I still wouldn't care that the Cowboys have George Pickens, because he's going to blow up sooner or later. I'm sorry, THP. I know that's not what you want to hear, but, I mean, wow. I want to see the Steelers and Dallas both do well this year. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about making ratings for the NFL, the 2 greatest franchises in the NFL history, well, 2 of the most popular in NFL history, the Cowboys and Steelers. Yeah, I'm sure the NFL would want that, THP. Can tell you that much. Going to continue along here, ladies and gentlemen. Get through the third and final news story from the weekend, or I guess the big segment that I want to get through. Let's get into the world of baseball here just for a couple of minutes. Pittsburgh Pirates, like I said, a 3-game series over the weekend against the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Bucs, throughout the weekend, they had a patch on their jersey, and I think they're going to continue this for the remainder of the year, honoring the late, great Cobra, Dave Parker, Hall of Famer now, had a patch on their jerseys. They wore all-black uniforms in remembrance of Dave Parker. They also had a Cobra emblem spray painted on the field behind home plate. beginning on Friday, nothing doing whatsoever with the bats for the Pirates. Just a one-hit performance in 11 innings for the Pirates. One hit, and it came in the second inning. It was an 11-inning game. It went into extras, 0-0 game. Diamondbacks won 1-0. Certainly wasn't starting pitcher Mike Burrows' fault. 6 innings pitched, gave up 3 hits, walked 1, struck out 5. Also, O'Neal Cruz had a nice assist throwing out Corbin Carroll at second base. But yeah, just an absolutely horrendous showing from the Bucs Friday night. Also, there was a strange play where there was a shallow fly ball to left field. The ball was, caught, but Liover Peguero, who was at third base, didn't tag and go home. So really, the Bucs didn't help themselves in any way, shape, or form on Friday night. Moving to Saturday, O'Neal Cruz, what a weekend he had, staying hot. A 2-run shot for O'Neal Cruz in the bottom of the second inning, 410 feet. A kid actually got the ball out there in right center field. That was all that was needed. Solid game. Andrew Heaney turned out 5 innings. Cruz went yard. 2-0 was the final score. David Bednar got the save. It was the 100th save in the career of Dave Bednar. Hope that wasn't his last as a Pirate. I've been adamant here on the channel. I'm pretty sure I'm going to say it later on in the stream. Ben Cherington, horrid GM, should be fired in the offseason. Will he? We don't know. But if he does get fired in the offseason, he, as a, laying duck general manager, should not be able to trade top pieces because he will ruin things for the next general manager. So, good game Saturday. Cruz was the difference maker there. Moving on to Sunday. Big man on the bump. Number 30, Paul Skeens, toting the rubber. Going to share my screen here for a hot second. Let me go here. Here it is. Shout out Platinum Key Brian on Twitter. Skeens, insane. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 walk, struck out 9. Just looked absolutely dominant. 99 pitches. Pretty decent pitch number for him. He's been pitching into, I think, the mid-80s for his past couple of starts, but in this one, going 99 pitches. Dominant stuff. Nothing out of the ordinary for him. O'Neal Cruz, he stayed hot, and he had one of the most impressive feats of base running that I have seen in quite some time. Bottom of the second, Cruz is on first with nobody out. Tommy Pham up to bat. Cruz takes off for second base, and I'm not sure if this was a hit and run or not. Pham hits a just routine shallow single, dunking it into center field. Cruz, who is running, rounds second, then rounds third and scores, sliding headfirst into home plate without a throw to boot. I believe he went from first to home in about 9 seconds, maybe even under that, just flying. Trade rumors around him going to the Yankees. Yeah, right. You do not trade that. Skeens, by the way, back to him. Like I said, nine punch outs over 6 innings. He now has a 1.83 ERA this season. This month, July, I think that was his last start for the month. July had an ERA of 0.67. That is the 5th lowest ERA by a Pirate pitcher in a calendar month with a minimum of 25 innings since 1920. Also, in July, 27 innings pitched, 36 strikeouts, only walked 3 batters, and had a whip of 0.89. You see stuff like that, and you got to wonder how bad like, we know he's terrible, but how completely and totally not wiping after you use the bathroom ass of a GM is Ben Cherington for having screwed things up this bad to where the team is completely out of it, and your ace, one of the greatest pitchers that we will ever see, turns out elite isn't even a strong enough word, a generational historic month like that. It's insane. Yeah, so that's how Skeens did. 6-0 was the final score of yesterday's ball game. 9 Ks for Skeens. Big day for Cruz at the plate again. Had a pair of hits, and the Pirates took the series. Now the Buccos, they will be on the road starting tonight. I believe it's a 9:45 ball game. They will be in San Francisco for 3 games against the Giants. Should be a fun series there. I think the Bucs, they've always played not so hot in San Fran, and also they are on a pretty good season right now. Made one of the biggest trades of the year, getting Rafael Devers from the Red Sox. So 3 games out in San Fran. Then they have an off day on Thursday for the trade deadline. By the way, PSA will be live on Thursday for, I guess, the last couple of hours for the trade deadline. We'll be live for that, covering, seeing if the Bucs do anything big. They tend to do last-minute trades, so we will be breaking some Pirate news and trades Thursday. We'll be live for then. And then after Thursday's deadline, weekend series going a mile high in Colorado, and then back to PNC Park against the Giants again. Let's go back to the comments section here real quick. Lots of comments while I was doing that. Let me try to remember where we left off here. Went to see Pick Steelers in Dallas. Yeah, I covered that one. Heard Pickens fumbled too. It's good for the league. Who's the RB1 for the Steelers? Are they going to be top-tier type of meh? Top-tier type of meh, indeed. Running back 1 right now, Jaylen Warren. But if he can catch the ball consistently and become a half-decent pass protector, Caleb Johnson is going to take over the RB1 spot for Jaylen Warren. And I hope Jaylen gets a fair shot. You know, Johnson looks like he is built and bred coming from Iowa, where they run a similar system to the Steelers. Johnson had outstanding numbers in college last year, and he is looking like he is going to be one of the steals of the draft. Yeah, hope Warren gets a fair shake, but Caleb Johnson will take that spot, I think, pretty soon. Flacco, RIP Hulk Hogan, Tampa's hero. Yeah, said that at the end of Thursday or Friday's stream. RIP to Hulk Hogan. Sports entertainment, professional wrestling, and I think sports in general would not be where it is today without him. So I agreed. Flacco, RIP to the Hulkster. Flacco, I heard Rodgers threw another ET. Okay, you guys are just going at each other now. Yeah, I think it was 3 total. You guys going at each other. Love it. I think both Pitt and Dallas are 9-8, 10-7 teams. Yeah, when are they not? Well, aside from Dallas, they had a terrible year last year. But yeah, I think that's going to be where you see each of those teams lining up this year there, THP. Y'all got an offense that you can believe in. Our offense is still TBD. Yeah. Do you have a running game, though, THP? I got that question. Tyler Guyton going to maybe right guard. Tyler Smith to it. Booker. Yeah, you guys talking about the offensive line. Offensive line still a work in progress down there in Dallas, just like up here. Yeah, Jeff Flacco Johnson over Warren. Yeah. Shoot, I forgot. Javonte Williams, he's in Dallas, right? I forgot about him and Miles Sanders. I keep thinking like it's encoded in my brain that the only 2 running backs in Dallas right now are who is it? Not is it Deuce Vaughn and Jaden Blue. Yeah, I forgot Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders are there as well. Javonte Williams, I think, is a decent reclamation project. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news for today's live stream, once again, 10 of you in here right now, please subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Also, drop a like and a comment in the comment section. Subscribe to the channel as well. We are at 470 subscribers on the channel right now. I will say this. Was going to save this for the ending of today's live stream, but there is a new form of content coming here to the channel sometime later this night. This is going to be my first time doing this, so I don't know how long it's going to take me. Check out later tonight a new video type of content will be coming to the stream. I am calling it SCSR 60. Basically, what that is for on the channel itself, going to be a video, 60 seconds or less, top news stories of the day in the city of Pittsburgh. This video will also get posted to all the social media accounts of the channel as well on Facebook, Instagram, and X. So go check it out there. Like I said, as soon as I log off stream here tonight, going to record that. It's going to be something quick and easy, 60 seconds or less. Here's the top news stories of the day, basic information, and we continue on, and it'll be posted everywhere. So go check that out if you guys, are compelled to do so after today's live stream. It'll be posted and up sometime later this evening. Back to the comment section before I continue on here. Turpin, Vaughn, and Blues. Kavonte Turpin, a running back. I know he's, return specialist. Thought he was a wide receiver by trade. They transitioned him? I don't know. But we don't got in between tackles runners besides Sanders. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think Miles Sanders is over the hill. Javonte is another Najee, but a little better vision. Yeah, pretty much. Where you will see, I know he can catch the ball, but no burst. Yeah, we'll see. Kind of similar questions, for the Steelers and Cowboys. What's the running game going to be like? Is the offensive line going to be good or bad? Work in progress. New wide receivers, how are they going to do? Dallas still has to pay a linebacker. We paid ours. Similar boats that the Cowboys and Steelers are in, at least a little bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue with the extra news of the day for both for all Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates news. Let's get back to the Bucs. We're going to stick with baseball here just for a hot moment. Like I said, trade deadline coming up here on Thursday, and General Manager Ben Cherington of your Pittsburgh Pirates spoke this weekend, and I don't even know what the hell this dude says anymore. Really, what he says goes in one ear and out the other, because I think even he realizes that no one's believing his BS. Anyway, a couple of things he said over the weekend. He was asked, what the Pirates, what they are thinking about doing over this trade deadline and what kind of risks they are going to be taking. And what a quote this was from Cherington. And I quote, "I don't think we can be risk adverse. I don't think that's going to work in Pittsburgh." Pause. I don't think we can be risk averse. I don't think that works in Pittsburgh. Textbook definition of gaslighting. I don't think we can be risk averse. Those words coming from the most risk-averse general manager of all time. If there is any risk whatsoever in a trade, he is not going to make it. I don't think that's going to work in Pittsburgh. What's the quote here? No, Sherlock. 6 years, and everything you've done hasn't worked here in Pittsburgh. I can't. Continuing, we want to win. We're going to have to assume risk. His risk is going, 27 miles an hour in a 25. His risk is instead of getting jalapenos on his sandwich at Subway, he gets banana peppers. His risk is instead of, going, I can't even think of it. I give up. His risk is instead of, going to bed at 9:30, he's going to go to bed at 10 o'clock. Just the most Mickey Mouse stuff ever from this guy. This coming from the guy, we can't be risk averse, and yet he's the guy who last year says you have to be comfortable saying no. Make up your mind, Ben. Now all of a sudden, with your ass on the line, now you're going to take risks? Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Risks would be you trading Mitch Keller for a major league bat. Trading Keller to the damn Boston Red Sox and getting Jarren Duran and another, minor league prospect in return. That would be taking a risk. But we all know that your ass is going to pucker at the first chance, at, the first time someone mentions something that is, the slightest bit of risk to you. Whatever. Said a bunch of other things Cherington did. Another quote he said here, if you look at teams that are succeeding, that are most similar to us, they're getting a lot of value through trades. We have to be ready to do the same thing. Yeah. Good luck with that. You haven't made a damn good trade in your tenure as general manager. By the way, one of his all-time, or I guess this was one of his first trades as general manager. It's officially a bust. You remember when the team had Joe Musgrove? I believe they traded Musgrove to the San Diego Padres for David Bednar, Jack Suwinski, and a prospect who was supposed to be the headliner in the deal, Hudson Head. Let's do a roll call here. Bednar, shaky past couple of years, seemingly has found his stuff again, probably going to get traded at the trade deadline. Suwinski, can't hit to save his life. Started off hot with the organization. I think he hit, 27 home runs in his first year in the big leagues. After that, can't hit a ball to save his life. And now this guy, Hudson Head, who was supposed to be some blue chip prospect, he got released on the development list over the weekend. So good job on that trade, Ben. I'll totally believe you when you make a good trade. Last thing here for Cherington, spoke about the draft that the Bucs just had, and he officially addressed the surprising decision of his second-round pick, right-handed pitcher Angel Cervantes. Instead of signing with the Bucs, he committed to UCLA. Cherington didn't rule out signing Cervantes, though he does expect him to attend UCLA, even though the deadline, which I believe is today, or was today, hadn't passed yet to sign draftees. So, yeah, good stuff there from Ben Cherington, gaslighting us into oblivion, and is going to be at the helm for possibly the most pivotal trade deadline of the organization in some time. If he does what we all want him to do, I ship off anyone with the last year of their deal up, Heaney, Ferguson, Pham. Get rid of those guys. We don't care what the hell you do, because you cannot really screw up trades like that. However, I do not want him to make any sort of monumental moves, trading away Keller, Bednar, Santana, two unlikely ones, Reynolds, Cruz. Leave those decisions for the next GM, who will, I guarantee you, have such a low bar to clear that they will probably make the right decision, whichever way they go with it. Also, Key Brian Hayes. This right here, a couple minutes ago, that's what I wanted to get into. Interesting stuff here. Charlie Hayes, Key Brian Hayes' father, just an hour ago, posting on Twitter, everything happens for a reason. A cryptic tweet there from Charlie Hayes an hour ago. We're left to speculate now if trades are heating up. Also, John Parado, National Baseball Insider, said that there is a bidding war for David Bednar right now. Interested teams, the Detroit Tigers, Philadelphia Phillies, Texas Rangers, and Chicago Cubs. If I had to guess what two teams are at the top of the bidding for Bednar right now, if a bidding war does exist, the Phillies and Cubs would have to be my guess. Texas Rangers, they're kind of an out-of-the-blue pick there. And the Detroit Tigers, they just made a trade a couple of hours ago, getting a starting pitcher and relief pitcher from the Minnesota Twins. So I think they might be out on adding to the bullpen, or at least, less likely to get Bednar. A couple other things to keep note of, as they could affect the Pirates. Around the league, Seth Lugo, one of the top pitchers that was seemingly available for this year's deadline, signed an extension for 2 years with Kansas City. So one more starting pitcher available off the board. Mitch Keller slides up of top available starting pitchers. Also, big one here today. Emmanuel Clase, probably the best closer in baseball. He got put on the non-disciplinary paid leave list by the MLB. He is being investigated for sports betting, just like former Bucco pitcher Luis Ortiz a couple of weeks ago. So with Clase, he was being dangled out there as a possible trade chip. Bednar and Santana, they now skyrocket up the list for potential relief pitchers available. Crazy stuff. Like I said, we will keep an eye on any and every single bit of reports or rumors surrounding the Bucs, up to and including Thursday's deadline. Last one here, the Chicago Cubs, apparently they are interested in Mitch Keller as well. And the Pirates, however, their asking price is high. They want Owen Casey in return. This per Bob Nightingale. Owen Casey, top prospect for the Cubs, 23-year-old, hitting 20 home runs and a .278 batting average in AAA for the Cubs, an outfielder. Let's go back to the comment section real quick here. THP, see one of your comments there. Going to get to that in a second. As a matter of fact, I'll just talk about it right now. Bryce Harper just said, get the F out of here. Yeah, I saw that too, to Rob Manfred having a meeting with the Phillies in their clubhouse, and Harper, when Manfred was going to talk about a salary cap, Harper got up and said, get the F out of our clubhouse. That sounds to me like someone is a little intimidated and a little scared of possibly losing a chunk of change. Does that from Harper there. Sounds like a 1% problem in the world. The rich want to stay rich, while pretty much, a good bit, 33% of MLB big leaguers, they're making less money than, fourth line players in the NHL. Yeah, sounds to me like Harper's a little intimidated. He just wants to continue him and his team to have an unfair advantage and get paid all the bucks under the sun. Yeah. Get the F out of here. I can say that too to you, Harper. Guy's been a Jag his entire career. He's the new Evel Knievel risk taker extreme. Yeah. Ben Cherington. Yeah, really. He's going to put on his big boy pants. Instead of wearing the blue underwear this morning, I'm going to wear the black. That's going to be a risk. His risk. I'm going to wear a light colored shirt today when it's 100 degrees instead of the black to, maybe risk showing my sweat stains a little bit more. Buying that Griffin kid, though, yeah. I am buying into Connor Griffin, but still, though, I got to see him continue to steadily climb the prospect system, but also continue his dominance at each level before I credit him as the second coming of whoever. Pick a baseball player. Pitching accounts going over. Appreciate it, Flacco. Going here. Last thing here on the Pirates. Glad to see this. I'm going to share my screen because we all get to admire this forever now. Last bit of Pirate news. Dave Parker, finally immortalized. This weekend, Sunday, the Hall of Fame induction ceremony took place. Parker, tragically passing away about a month ago. As a matter of fact, wasn't it, I think a month ago to the day, if I'm not mistaken? I'm not sure. Anyway, a month ago, Dave Parker, at least he knew that he was going to the Hall of Fame. He passed away. Unfortunately, couldn't, be there in person to receive this honor. It took them, I wholeheartedly believe it took the voters too damn long to get him in there. But Parker was honored, and he was represented by his daughters, his two daughters, and his son, Dave II, which, by the way, if you see a picture of Dave Parker's son, my goodness, he looks nothing like his dad. Hope you're picking up on my sarcasm there. Anyway, speaking of Dave II, he inducted his dad, was up there on the stage, gave the induction speech, and read off a beautiful poem written by Parker himself. The Cobra, writing this poem before he passed away. This was his Hall of Fame induction poem. He wanted his son to read it. I'm going to read it right now. Here I am, 39, about damn time. I know I had to wait a little, but that's what you do with fine, aged wine. I'm a pirate for life, wouldn't have it no other way. That's why that was my family. Excuse me. Even though I didn't go on parade day, I love y'all. The Bucs own my heart. Because those 2 championships I got, y'all played in the first part. I'm in the hall now. You can't take that away. That statue better look good. I got a pretty face. Top tier athlete, fashion icon, sex symbol. No reason to list the rest of my credentials. I'm him. Period. The Cobra. Known for my record arm, and I will run any catcher over. To my friends, families, I love y'all. Thanks for staying by my side. I told y'all Cooperstown would be my last ride. So the Star of David will be in the sky tonight. Watch it glow. But I didn't lie. In my documentary, I told you I wouldn't show. Beautiful. As poetic as Dave Parker could possibly have been, that was the Cobra. In every single word and line and stanza right there of that poem. Beautiful stuff there from Dave Parker. You saw his plaque there that will be in Cooperstown in the Hall of Fame. Just humor, saying I'm him, which literally he was. Probably one of the greatest 5-tool baseball athletes that you will ever see. That was Parker. So great stuff there. To the comment section real quick. Why do statues and plaques design so bad? All these 3D printers and stuff and still make them look meh. I think it's, just how they always did them. Sticking with tradition. Typed it in Google first for YouTube vids. Okay, I will look those up after the fact. There, Flacco. But yeah, beautiful stuff there from Dave Parker. That is a Cobra to a T. Moving back into some Pittsburgh Steelers news now with some extra Pittsburgh sports news. Minkah Fitzpatrick. We remember him going back down to Miami in the trade for Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith. Seemingly hasn't been too happy since he's gotten back down to Miami. We talked about on Friday, hadn't met with the reporters. And really his mugshot, well, not his mugshot, his, headshot for the league in a Dolphins jersey. Looks completely and totally disinterested. Over the weekend, he hired a new agent, Drew Rosenhaus, familiar name, one of the top NFL 8 player agents, was pushing Fitzpatrick for a new contract, and he got it. He had no guaranteed money left on his deal, and yesterday got a pay raise from the Miami Dolphins, a $2 million pay raise this year. Again, had no guaranteed money this season, and the Dolphins in the process cleared $11 million in cap space. Fitzpatrick now due $17.5 million this year and $15.6 million next year. Miami paying him a little more this year, getting flexibility for the future. Fitzpatrick not only got a new deal, he did speak, and I like to think that things, ended on good terms. Surprising, but, good terms with the Steelers. Had his introductory press conference, and he said that he thanks the city of Pittsburgh, the fans, and the Steelers teammates, but he declined to take questions on the trade and former coaches and anything else related to his time in Pittsburgh. So, fans, I'm going to say, I think we can all agree, we still love Minka. Embodied what it meant to be a Steeler, was, I think, a consummate professional, a good teammate, just didn't have the production, and the Steelers had a trade lined up that they couldn't refuse. If he was here, fine. Now that he's gone, also fine, because we got back in return. However, declining to comment on former coaches, looks like he did have a little bit of an issue with Mike Tomlin near the end. So, hey, good relations with teammates and fans. Maybe not so good relations with the coach and getting traded, but hey, that's football. That's a business. Also, Fitzpatrick, by the way, not the only Steeler, former Steeler that is now down in Miami. The Bengals over the weekend, after, they've had a couple of corners go down in training camp, signing Mike Hilton. We remember him. Good slot corner for the Steelers. Really one of those guys at a time when the Steelers let go of a couple of players on defense. You didn't want to see him go somewhere else. Hilton now, think he's on the back nine of his career. He signed a 1-year deal with the Dolphins. So good luck to him down there, except for when he plays the Steelers in December. Moving from one former Steelers safety to back to a current Steelers safety, Deshaun Elliott spoke with the media at Latrobe and talked about Aaron Rodgers again, more specifically, the comment that he left on an Instagram post a couple of months ago telling Rodgers, telling the Steelers, leave his ass in the retirement home when talking about Rodgers. Elliott talking about that, quote, I'm a troll, he's an all-pro, and he's a GOAT. He's going to be a gold jacket guy one day. Honestly, when he got here, we communicated, we talked. He's a great person and a great football player. So whoever the media's put out there about Rodgers, he's talking about there, is BS. I respect him a lot. I told him that I respect him, and I apologize to him for the things I was saying about him. Honestly, he's a great man, and he's a great heart. So I appreciate him, and he's funny as hell. Elliott, a little bit of backtracking there, but I also think, if you see him in his social media interactions from time to time, he is a bit of, like he said there, a troll. And, say some things to rile up people. I think, Elliott, also Rodgers, known to be a good crap talker. Think those two personalities, they'll mesh pretty well together. Also, if you think Elliott still is, behind Rodgers' back, still critical of him, commented on a post from Alan Saunders on Twitter today, pictures of Rodgers, quote, that's my quarterback, Elliott. So seemingly all good is there. Sticking with the Steelers, roster transaction, and one that was overdue. Cordero Patterson. We remember him, one of the all-time great special teams returners of all time, was somehow, some way, still on the roster heading into training camp this year. he broke his own news today, posting this. Breaking news, Pittsburgh Steelers released old, washed-up Cordero Patterson on his day off. And on cue, everyone, including myself, I said it when I read it, how the hell you get fired on your day off? Going to the old Friday quote. So, yeah, Patterson breaking that himself. Very upset. Looks like it sounds like he, just like the rest of us fans, perplexed as all hell as to how he was still on the roster throughout the season. I get how he's mad at it. You know, if you're him, Steelers, cut me early in the offseason so then I can, pivot to something else, maybe get picked up by another team. But, yeah, it is what it is. Shocked that he made it this far, but this was a move that we all knew was going to happen eventually. Steelers also, by the way, saving $2.8 million in cap space. Last story here that will titillate the interest of Steelers fans. We talked about former Steelers, Minka Fitzpatrick and Mike Hilton. Injury watch at some other training camps, and a former Steeler goes down. Kenny Pickett over the weekend, and a hamstring injury near the end of Saturday's practice will be reevaluated later this week. Yeah, sucks for Kenny. I will probably root against him because of, I loved him as a Pitt Panther, and then he came here and he sucked as a Steeler. And I'll root against him extra because he's a Cleveland Brown, but you never want to see someone go down with injury. I don't wish that upon really anyone. So sucks that he had the hamstring injury. And honestly, Cleveland, even though it's football hell, probably was going to be the best place for him to get the starting job and hang on to it for at least a little while and prove that he can be a starter in the league. But fortunately, now he's down with injury, and a QB competition of 4 now gets shaved down to a QB competition of 3. Joe Flacco, Dylan Gabriel, and Shedeur Toretto Sanders. So that'll be fun. Maybe he comes back and gets the starting job after all. Who knows? Back to the comment section before I wrap up the extra news for today's live stream. Looks like Flacco and THP still going back at it, back at each other in the comment section. Flacco, F. Pickett. It's those damn gloves. Not sure what the gloves have to do with a hamstring injury, but yeah, looks like you guys are hitting all the hits here. Small hands. Should never have been drafted that high, in my opinion. Yeah, but let's keep in mind here, this was Kevin Colbert's song draft. He immediately retired after the draft, and yeah, what an ugly way to go out for really an all-time great GM in Steelers history. That is, maybe all-time, who knows, all-time great Steelers GM. 2 extra things here, ladies and gentlemen, wrapping up the extra sports news, both Penguins related and small as hell. First off, happy birthday, Philip Tomasino. Loved that pickup early last year. I believe 23, 24-year-old, middle line winger. Young, got a lot of potential when he came here. Got some runway and impressed. Put the puck in the net a good bit, especially on a line with Evgeny Malkin. Hopefully he can continue that success this year. Hopefully he gets an even bigger role in a clear rebuilding year. And second extra Penguins news story for the day. Harrison Brunick and Ben Kindle, top prospects. Probably, I don't know. You can make an argument that they are the 2 top prospects in the Penguins system. I know Ville Koivunen and Rucker McGroarty, they're up there as well. But Brunick and Kindle invited, along with 42 other players, to a summer showcase in Minnesota for Team Canada. They will be trying out for the World Juniors team for Canada. Good luck to Brunick and Kindle. Back to the comments here. Mason Rudolph for Kenny. Mason. Mason, kind of like Pickett, has some trouble with, intermediate stuff, but damn good feel for the pocket does Rudolph, and also has the deep ball, which Kenny does not. So Rudolph there. Should say enough, 2 years ago when Rudolph led the team to the playoffs, even when Kenny was healthy. Going to take a stroll here again through Twitter, see if we have any extra new news before hopping off for the evening. So no impending trade yet. So we might get something here maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. I think we're going to see the Pirates start making trades often once they begin. Another MLB trade just went down. Rays getting a catcher from the Marlins. All right, not seeing too much here. So I think that's going to do it. And yeah, that's it. All right, on for nearly an hour and a half on this Monday night. Thank you all for joining me. I appreciate it, as always. THP, Flacco, Steeler Mike, way up there. Thank you all for commenting, like usual. For the final time, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Also, like, leave a comment, and share this live stream after the fact. Go follow the Steel City Sports Report on all the other social media platforms as well, Facebook, Instagram, and X. And check back on the channel later tonight and on the social medias for the first ever SCSR 60, a 1 minute or less fast-paced recap of the news over the past couple of days, but it'll be a daily thing moving forward. So that's it. Thank you, as always. Appreciate you guys. Flacco, THP, as always. And that's it. Come back later tonight. Have a good rest of your Monday night, everyone. Check out what's coming down the pipe later tonight. See you back here when I see you. Peace.